I'm very optimistic about that space still. We've had a sharp contraction and a
Mhm.
reset of what's called the MNAV in a number of these companies. And so there was a little bit of euphoria, a rush of capital into them right off the bat in May, June, July, and that's kind of backed off a little bit as Bitcoin continues to kind of grind sideways. And then you've got the leader of all of them, Michael Saylor, and Strategy. They've contracted. Their MNAV has contracted to 1.5 here, and the reason for that is that he's been tapping the ATM, meaning selling common stock to turn around and buy Bitcoin with it. And he's been doing a lot of things, that I think are really smart, and we think that they are poised to be the biggest Bitcoin bank in the world. So really important, but we've seen a contraction here, and that's okay. I think that's normal, but I think it's also an opportunity long term. Now that said, we like to hone in on the MNAV, and it's the simplest calculation of all these companies, and we like to do that because it gives us a tangible book value for the underlying shares, right?
Mm.
So when it also gives you a pretty strong base to compare to traditional banks. So looking at these, we think that most of them are going to fall in the 1.5 to 2.5 MNAV calculation. Most of them will gravitate towards that 1.25, 1.5. We think that there will be premium for some other ones who have strong leadership, strong access to financial products and in the capital markets, and an strong underlying business that can help fuel purchases. Those all to us, they are eligible for a higher MNAV. And so, uh, over time, we do believe that a lot of them are going to contract into that, but it's going to take time. There's still plenty of runway here, but there's a difference between the different companies. Some companies actually have underlying businesses. Some of them really don't. They're just straight Bitcoin treasury trying to arbitrage capital markets by borrowing fiat to buy Bitcoin, which I think is a good play. It's just a question of how many companies can make that run before the demand, the appetite for that dries up. That's the question. So I still think we have plenty of runway there. There's so much to learn about Bitcoin in the institutional space still, that there's going to be more capital there. So again, we like the space. We do not invest in every single one. We are actually we are pretty selective, but Brandon, because we're a hedge fund, we get the opportunity to buy in the private markets before these things come public. We sign all the non-disclosures and all that, and we agree to buy at a certain point at a certain time in the future. So we take certain risks for that, but we get it
Yep.
close to one MNAV rather than paying 2, 3, 4, 5 times for them in the market. So it's a little bit different for us. We have that advantage as a hedge fund, but that I say us, but it's really for our LPs, our investors
Yeah,
have that
investors.
advantage.
Yeah. So I wanted to get your thoughts on some. We talked about government a bit here, but I want to get your thoughts just briefly on two government issues, one here and then one across the pond. Obviously, the EU, they're trying to roll out the CBDC. They're whatever their whatever they got going on. They're trying to freeze their citizens' assets, bail them in. I would love your thought on just what's going on over there, potential red herrings or canary in a coal mine or what have you, and also here in our country, we've got government now owning 10% of Intel. I would love your thoughts on just some of these big developments, I guess, or we could call them, really over the last couple of weeks, last few months.
Yeah. So hitting on, first of all, the government owning Intel. I mean, I don't really love the government owning the public companies. It just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I'd like Congress to get out of the business of owning stocks. I mean, but having the Congress, having senators and congressmen go into their seats with $1,000 net worth and come out with hundreds of millions of dollars worth of net worth. It's just absolutely abysmal. It's ridiculous. I mean, the insider dealing, insider trading it's shameful. They have no shame though. They don't care. So that to me is the bigger issue, is to get them out of trading. I mean, I don't see the US government buying 10, 20, 30% of all these companies. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I also don't want to see it. That's like, that's the first step toward a government that we don't want.
Yeah, not good. Yeah.
Not good. So I disagree with that decision. So CBDCs, for those who don't know, central bank digital currencies are currencies that are on the blockchain that give full and total access to the provider, meaning the US, to the government, not the US, the European government. And so the EU can determine how, when, how much, what for you can use your money. So meaning that they could do it down to the transaction. So if they want to establish a 15-minute city, if they have CBDCs, it's really easy to do. What's a 15-minute city? It means you have basically are effectively walled in to 15 minutes from your home in any direction, meaning that if you want to leave that 15-minute radius, then you're going to be penalized. It's going to be a special thing for you to leave that 15-minute radius. So you have to shop at your local grocery store. You have to travel to your local, you can't go take vacations whenever you want. And if you try to, because of the central bank digital currency, they can say, well, you can't use that money in Greece today. You live in Germany. You've been to Greece twice already this year. You can't go 3 times. And they could just say your money's not good here, and you can't buy the plane ticket. You can't buy gas. Nope, you're not allowed to. You've eaten too much meat. You had beef twice this quarter. So that's it. You can't have any more beef until next year, and you can't buy it. And so they'll start creating some sort of, you do that, and you're going to have unrest. You're going to have dissatisfaction at the consumer level, and you're going to start a barter industry. And what do you think they're going to do? They're going to want to try to get access to things like Bitcoin, so they can buy things they want without having, their money tied up. But they'll stop the rails to that too. So it's concerning. It's concerning. And if I were a European, I would be fighting it every single day and calling whoever is my representative to rail against it, because it's insidious and it's scary. And it's exactly what Elizabeth Warren wants. She's not going to get it. That's what she wants. Complete and utter total control. Not going to happen.
If you like that clip, then you definitely got to check out this next spicy clip. I think you're really going to like it. Come on, check it out. But if you want the full version, the full interview, then check that out over here. Come on, do it. I'll see you in there.